All right, so best piece of advice you received to help you come across the next research opportunity. Who did you have to go to? Those types of things.
Well, I met Professor Gerhardt at Georgia Tech, and she had invited me to an event where students can learn more about the professorate. And at that event, we had an opportunity to speak, and she said, Ericka, make sure you do a postdoc. Do not go straight into academia. And I'm thinking, oh man, I don't want to do that. I want to go straight in. But she really encouraged me to look for a postdoc. And then she said, do an NRC, a National Research Council postdoc. And she said, you should work for a national lab. And that turned out to be some really good advice. I think if she had not spoken to me, I would have instead looked for a postdoc in academia at a university, and that's perfectly okay. But she really felt that that was something to distinguish me from other candidates. So I did apply for the NRC program, and I did earn a postdoc for the U.S. Army Natick Soldier Research and Development Engineering Center.
Before you talked to her, did you think there was any chance that you would be doing something like that?
No, I did not. And when I went to the homepage for the NRC, I saw I had to write a proposal. I had never written a proposal before. I didn't know who to apply to. So, and she really didn't tell me to. She didn't tell me who to go to or how a proposal should be written. But because she told me, I figured I need to at least try. And so that's when I used other people in my network that I knew to help prepare me.
So what got you into textiles? Was it something that you became interested in before college, during college, post-college?
I heard about textiles when I was in high school, and I found out they were giving scholarships. So for someone who was first generation college, that sounded like a really nice deal to have an engineering degree and a very specialized field that was willing to support people that were coming in. So when I applied to Georgia Tech, I knew they had a textile engineering program. I applied, I was accepted in, and then once I arrived at Georgia Tech, I then applied for their textile scholarship and earned that. And it's been really good to me. I really like the industry.
When I say the word networking, what do you think of?
I think of building relationships when I think of networking. You're looking for ways to meet people and to share a skill or a gift that you have with someone else. And you're looking to see ways that that person's experiences can help you.
What ways did you find were the best for you to network?
I found through faculty, having relationships with faculty, being involved in student chapter organizations that really helped build my network. Also, when I was an intern for BP Amico and their fabrics and fibers plants, I had a great mentor, and she really helped develop my network. So really, any organization that I became a part of, I just found ways to meet new people and to talk, hear about their experiences.
What is the toughest thing you've had to overcome through your academic career so far?
I say it's mentally. A mental challenge that you have to overcome is fear. Fear you're not good enough, fear of what people would think, fear that if you don't do this well, your whole world will crumble. If I don't make an A, oh no, I'll never survive and everything will fall apart. That's not true. If you get over the fear and you just focus on doing it because you love it, you'll find yourself being more happy. I'm most stressed about my job when I start to fear the outcome. But when I start to think about, there's challenges, well, this can be overcome because I like doing this, it gives me joy, then that kind of helps me to put things in perspective.
Do you find anything outside of work that helps you to mitigate those fears or those stresses that come along
I would say family, having a relationship with family. I have my husband, so he keeps me grounded. You can't always talk about the stresses of work with your spouse. You'll drive them away. They keep you grounded. And I'm also a dancer. I'm a liturgical dancer, so I do that in my free time.
Awesome. Who is the most influential person for you within your field and outside of it?
I would say the most influential person in my life has been my mother, because she's a pretty tough mom, and she was one of those moms that if you gave her a picture or something, if it wasn't up to par, she would tell you. It didn't just go instantly on the refrigerator. So she really gave me a standard, and to realize you should do your best in all things. And within the field, I would say it was my PhD advisor, Dr. Satish Kumar. When I was just an undergrad, he really saw something in me, and he approached me to see if I would be interested in being part of his research team. So that really meant a lot to me. He was a tough advisor, but he really trained me well. And even now, he's become a friend. So I really appreciate him.
So when you started doing undergraduate research with him, what were your first thoughts when you got into it, when you were exposed to your first research articles and maybe presenting to the group? What was that like?
So after working for BP Amoco as an intern, I realized that I may want to go to grad school. So there were announcements sent from various schools about summer undergraduate research experiences. And I applied to those, one at Case Western Reserve University, another one at University of Maine. And they were both in the areas of polymers and fibers. And I really liked it. The best part of it was reporting the results. So when I was younger, I always wanted to be a journalist because I liked the facts and I liked essay writing. So technical writing really appealed to me, and having a story to tell from doing those experiments was really fun. And so I kind of liked reading journal articles. They were hard, the language was hard, but I noticed that as I did more experiments, and that the language seemed less of a barrier, and I began to like it.
Is public speaking easy, and has this changed over time?
I say I always like telling a story. I like telling a story and writing essays. And so when it comes to public speaking about facts, I'm very comfortable. Or when it comes to teaching someone about a topic that I like, I'm very comfortable. Public speaking is less comfortable when I have to make chit chat. So I found out that I really do like teaching.
Now, well, this one's under the assumption that you have undergraduate students working with you. Do you? Yes.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So when you look to work with an undergraduate student, what kind of a student are you looking for? Have you had one in the past that really stuck out for some reason?
Mm-hmm. So I started having undergraduate students work with me as early as my master's degree, because I had a lot of samples to test. And so I always thought about efficiency. And so I realized I need more hands for all the things that I wanted to understand. And a master's should be relatively short. So I talked to my advisor. He allowed me to have a master's student, and I trained them. And I really just liked having a master's student around to do those things so that I can focus on other areas. So one qualities that I see that are really good in master's students is that they're motivated and they can work on their own. Like they actually want to be taught the technique and then to do it by themselves.
Okay, what was your most spectacular failure, and what did you learn from it?
My most spectacular failure is that I made a D in Intro to Polymers. And I'll be teaching in polymer-related courses. I'm a textile engineering major, and And I'm in that type of department as a professor, and yet I made a D my first time taking polymer engineering, a polymer engineering course. And because I was in that field or in that major, D was not done, so I had to retake it. But when I retook it, I made an A, and I felt really comfortable with the content. And I learned that I shouldn't let that deter me, that one failure, and it really became a positive.
Okay, so this is the kind of like the last wrap-up question, and our goal was to kind of bring it in with the Call Me Doctor concept and motto. So students want to know what kind of impact they can have when they're looking to go through school and what they can do later. What impact do you feel your research has, and how does these research interests fit in with your community outreach and your community involvement with the Call Me Doctor?
I say I've always been very interested in economic development. My interest in being an engineer and working in manufacturing was all about helping towards a common goal so that people could do their job. As a faculty researcher, I can create research that can actually feel or help the textile industry, and that's really important to me. So that's one. Another thing that I do is that I'm learning how to write grants. So I'm a part of a liturgical dance group, and so I can work with the dance instructor on ways that she can find grants to support her community efforts. So that's one way I'm using my grantmanship. Another way that I'm using my experience is to have undergrads work in my research lab and to help them see the things that they can do with higher education and what research is about. So I'm really using my skills to affect economic development and the training of the next generation of scientists and engineers.
So if you had one piece of advice for an undergraduate student who was maybe thinking about doing research or just starting research, what would that be?
I would say have fun, don't be afraid, you're good enough, be creative, don't be intimidated. You've made it this far, just keep pressing, and always look at the bright side. You know, your world is not going to end. If you make a D, just retake it. Life is good, and look at the positive.